Episode 13. Eliza meets Caillou's friends. Okay Eliza. Ready to meet my friends?
I sure am, Caillou. Whoa. Who are those six?
Those are some of my friends. First there's Zack Dawson, Dora Marquez, Clyde Sinclair, Bongo, Ken Stevens, and Little Bill Glover.
I think I might know some of you. I remember seeing Ken Stevens at the trial a few weeks ago. He and his mom testified against both our dad and my mom because they recruited his dad to join the Punishers.
So you do know me?
As for Bongo, I heard about the way his dad's been treating him because I was introduced to his mom. As for Dora Marquez, I might have heard of her because I was introduced to her dad and abuela. As for Little Bill, the Glover surname sounds kinda familiar because of what I saw on the news at least a month ago. The same thing applies to Clyde because I heard the name Brad Sinclair on the news. And as for Zack Dawson, I remembered meeting his sister Zara and their parents before I got enrolled at Rapper City Elementary School. So you, Little Bill, are you related to Big Bill Glover?
Actually, yes. I am. Big Bill Glover's my dad. And I have an older brother named Bobby and an older sister named April. But my dad's been abusing me and my siblings a lot.
How often has your dad been abusing you?
Mostly in Roku the Vyonder, Vittorio the Vyonder 2003, Harry Strack the GoAnimator, and Paper Luigi 99's channels. My dad even caused an additional amount of trouble in SolidaritySpecialCupBoy 895's channel because he tried to hurt my mom while I asked Dora to help me with my homework. Wait, did that actually happen?
See, it actually did, Clyde. I wasn't aware of what's going on until I went inside Little Bill's house.
Wow. Little Bill, you and Dora had it rough.
Yeah. But that ain't nothing compared to the stuff my dad did with Tiana even before the Punishers were even formed together.
Does that include chasing you and Stephanie all throughout town with spiked bats in an attempt to brutally assault you with them?
How do you know about that?
Before Ken's dad and the crazy Italian father joined the Punishers, Officer McShane told me about all the stuff my mom did almost 5 years ago. And Little Bill, what she did with your dad at the park was one of them. And as for you three, Bongo, Clyde, and Dora, I heard that my mom grounded each of you for an invalid reason. Just out of curiosity though, what exactly did my mom ground you three for?
Well, for starters, you mammy grounded me for my end of grounding my mammy for attending her slumber party and grounding the whole world with your parents and uncles in the zone.
You got grounded by Tiana for grounding your own mom for causing trouble? She grounded me for grounding my parents in Karson Animate's channel and causing trouble in the past.
That's not as dumb of an excuse as the reason Tiana grounded me for. She grounded me for improving on my behavior in Karson Animate's channel and abandoning the troublemakers. And the worst thing about it is my dad thought I deserved it because I moved out of his house and called the police on him for abusing me up to the point where I was 19 years old.
I'm not surprised. I remember how long Herman's been abusing Bongo. And it's almost as bad as how my dad turned me into a troublemaker all because of my gender and romantic needs. And they're both reasons why Vittorio the Vyonder 2003's Grounded series out of us became popular. Though I have to admit, Herman recruiting my dad to join the Punishers was even worse than all the abuse my dad put me through and my mom neglecting me in Karson Animate's channel.
You two got off easily with your abusive fathers. My dad's been brutally assaulting me with not just his fists, but with swords, knives, and even a chainsaw too.
You mean your dad has been trying to kill you not just in Roku and the Vyonder's channel but throughout your whole life?
Yes. And when Tiana grounded me for the stuff I just listed, he thought I deserved it because of all the trouble I caused before I improved on my behavior. But when I refused to go to my room because I got grounded for a false reason like I do at the beginning of every single grounded series out of me, he threatened to decapitate me. He even tried to kill my new mom when she saw what happened. So I had to ground my dad in order to save her. But joining the Punishers was the worst thing my dad's ever done so far.
You know Clyde, I totally get where you're going with this. Because when your dad joined the Punishers, he tried to kill my dad twice when the Punishers and insurgency were at war.
He did what? My dad tried to kill your dad? Why would he do that?
When the Punishers declared war on the insurgency and raced them all the way to the forest, my dad ambushed your dad as part of Mr. Gavin's plan to save Stephanie and Natalie. Luckily both of my parents shot him and Mrs. Johnson, who's boss.
Wait a second. Zack, did you just say Mrs. Johnson?
How do you know her?
Officer McShane and Mr. Davidson told me a little bit about her too. She's not just one of the Punishers, but she's the ex-husband of the infamous childish dad aka Dave Johnson. And from what I heard, Mr. Johnson's been known for watching shows meant to educate children who are approximately my age, such as Barney and Friends and Sesame Street. Even go as far as to order kids meals such as the Happy Meal from McDonald's, buy kids toys from the store, and throw temper tantrums whenever things don't go his way. And it drove his ex-wife to become the entitled Karen that he's been calling her all the time and abuse not just him, but their 2 children too.
That girl's well informed.
You're telling me. But Eliza did mention all the stuff the Punishers did when they stood trial at least a month ago. Not to mention, Eliza herself got abused by both Boris and Vyonder around that time frame.
Wait a minute. Eliza, you got abused by your parents?
What sort of stuff did they ever do to you?
First my mom woke me up with an air horn at 5:30 in the morning like she did Natalie. Then she gave me a hard-boiled egg as a punishment for being a sleepyhead, which was ridiculous, and I was the only one given a hard-boiled egg while she and my dad had French toast. And when I refused to eat the hard-boiled egg, she threatened to spank me for doing so. And she spanked me anyway only because I thought she was crazy enough to do so.
After that, our dad grounded her for stupid reasons like he did me, Rosie, and all of my siblings.
What? What are the reasons?
Being ungrateful, a picky eater, and a sleepyhead, and taking a walk.
Actually, me taking a walk wasn't a completely stupid reason to ground me. I mean, I did that by myself without supervision outside of an apartment building. But the other 3 reasons didn't justify my parents grounding me that day. And to top it all off, my mom threatened to spank me, give me a concussion, and ground me forever for calling the police on her and our dad upon hearing about them on the news. And then she threatened to give me an extremely brutal punishment day containing an infinite amount of punishments for refusing to turn around and bend over so she could spank me.
Caramba, those cells have gone even more plum loco than before.
Caillou, is everything Eliza just said true? Every word of it, Zack. That's just great. Those 2 just never learned from the last time they've abused a child.
You know, Eliza, I can definitely sympathize with what you had to go through. Ever since my first mom mysteriously died, the grief my dad and I suffered affected him very badly. While we were all mourning our loss, my dad resorted to heavy drinking and depression, and he even started abusing me when I was slightly above your age. Even if my dad married my second mother, our family was still torn apart. And he treated us and my stepbrother very badly. Not only did it break my heart to see my dad so cruel, it caused me to become the big-time troublemaker I used to be. Because of that, I've been grounded and abused for a long time. Wah 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 wah.
Man, you must have had it worse than I ever did, Clyde. I feel really bad for you.
So did Bongo and Ken.
You mean like when Mr. Stevens injected testosterone into Ken's system to make him extremely aggressive, all because of his gender and romantic interests?
Wait a second. Eliza, how'd you know that?
We testified against the Punishers together. Luckily the Punishers won't be causing any more trouble now that they got sentenced to 75 years in prison.
You dang right.
Well, Eliza, it was nice to meet you, all things considered.
Same to you guys.
Eliza, these 5 are Noah and Toby, Edmund, Brian and Emma Johnson, and my girlfriend, Gina Delgado.
I think I remembered seeing Brian and Emma Johnson outside of Stephanie's family's old house. They, along with their dad, helped Mrs. Dawson surround their mom when the Punishers and insurgency were fighting for my life. And as for Noah and Toby Edmund, I've heard about their mom on the news. But as for you, Gina, it's nice to meet you. My name's Eliza. It's nice to meet you too, Eliza. Also, Caillou told me what your parents did to you. I knew they cheated on Stephanie's dad and Caillou's mom, but I didn't think they would get married and form those Punishers.
Eliza, is it? Just out of curiosity, how else did you hear about me and my sister Emma?
I heard that your mom attended my mom's slumber party with Mrs. Marquez, Mrs. Edmund, and Miss Martin, and that my mom ungrounded her and grounded your dad at the same time. And I've also heard that my mom also ungrounded Noah and Toby's mom for the way she's been disciplining them.
Wow. You're a smart little girl. You pretty much remembered everything you were told about any of us.
Officer McShane was also impressed with my intelligence when he and Officer Riggs rescued me from my biological parents. And he even told me about all the trouble my mom caused.
Does that include teaming up with our mum and Miss Martin to act entitled towards everyone in the entire city?
Yes. And Mr. Davidson told me your dad's been acting childish all the time, and that drove your mom to act entitled and abuse all three of you at the same time. Can you explain to me what your mom ever did to you three?
Even though our dad's been acting childish, our mom's been claiming that everything, whether it's something he does or what we do, is for babies, idiots, and preschoolers. And there were times where our mom resorted to physically abusing us. For example, in GoToenail's channel, our mom beat me up over a dispute between me and Emma over swearing. And then she claimed that watching stuff like the Super Mario Bros. And Star Wars and playing Roblox was for babies when they were actually for all ages.
And in Nick the Animator 2K5's special, Catherine's Revenge, our mom acted entitled towards our dad when he got finished with the chores around the house and sat down to watch TV. After an intense argument between both of our parents, she knocked him out, locked him in the basement with her, and tried to kill him by stabbing him multiple times with a knife.
And because of all that, we had to call Nick himself to help stop our mom and save our dad. She then got sent to jail and presumably a mental hospital as well.
What? That's insane. I can't believe your mom tried to stab your dad to death. He may be childish, but he didn't deserve that. He must have been badly injured from all that torture.
He was. And while he got sent to the hospital, Emma and I along with our maternal grandma had to stand trial against our mom for what she did to him. I say. That's even worse than most of the stuff our mom did to us and the rest of the trouble she caused.
What sort of trouble did your mom cause? And what did she ever do to you?
Our mom's been abusing me more often than she did my brother Toby. For instance, in Abiuth Flores Animations channel, she sent an owl to attack me. Then in Davey Boy's channel, our mom sat on us both. And in Karson Animate's channel, she swapped our voices with our dad's. She placed my voice in our dad's body.
And she placed my voice in Noah's body and our dad's voice in my body. She even snuck up on me and turned Noah upside down in Abiuth Flores Animations channel.
And she even killed us both once before getting arrested and executed. She even committed even more crimes than just child abuse.
What else did your mom do?
In Karson Animate's channel, she blasted loud music at night with Caillou's uncles Chorus and Gorus, his classic clone, Your Mom, and Black Evil Hoodie Guy 2018. Then she used a chainsaw to make T-Bone Animate bald, destroyed Burger King, turned Miss Martin into a giant, got fat at Lee's sandwich, and killed her dad with GoAnimate logic.
Then she killed Noah for the first time and teamed up with your dad, Mrs. Marquez, and Mr. Dawson to ruin Doris's wedding in Red-Headed Guy 2011/Red-Headed Guy 2003's old channel.
And then in Red Hoodie Guy 2011/Red Hoodie Guy 2003's new channel, our mom and the other three vandalized the house Caillou's mom lived at with Officer Stephen. Then she teamed up with Mrs. Marquez to shoplift at Target and pushed our dad into the toxic lava when we went to the volcano. But we were able to save our dad just in time before he lost all of his oxygen by calling an ambulance to pick him up and give him medical attention. But beyond that, the final thing our mom did was teaming up with both your and Caillou's moms and Mrs. Marquez to ground the whole city in DotZz's channel.
Caillou, did Noah and Toby's mom really do all that stuff?
Yes, she did.
Noah, there's something about the stuff your mom did that I don't understand based on what you and Toby told me. If sitting on you was that bad, what does she look like?
She's chubby and she wears a red long-sleeved V-neck, a darker red skirt, and yellow heels.
Oh my goodness. She could have crushed and suffocated you two by doing that. She must have been as fat as a hippopotamus.
She tried to suffocate us by sitting on us, but our dad grounded her for that and saved us both. But the stuff she did's nothing compared to her time as a member of the Punishers.
And also, when Gina said something about your parents abusing you, what exactly did they do to you?
Our dad grounded Eliza for dumb reasons like he did to me, my siblings, and Rosie. The reasons he grounded her for were being ungrateful and a picky eater and taking a walk.
And my mom abused me the exact same way she did Stephanie and her siblings, such as waking me up with an air horn, giving me spankings, and threatening to give me a punishment day. So somewhere along the way, I watched the news upon overhearing my parents talk about my pep talk with Cartoon Productions Incorporated and called the police on them before I ran away.
Blimey. That was a very bold move you made back there, kid. They definitely deserved it for all the abuse they inflicted upon you.
What can I say? If there's two things about my parents I didn't like, it's that they lied to me after 4 years when I was born and that they're full-blown child abusers. And between that, me fighting back, and the insurgency and my adoptive family protecting me from them, the Punishers have all been sentenced to 75 years in prison. They won't be causing trouble for a very long time, that's for sure. Anyway, it was nice to meet you, Eliza. You two guys.
Wow. Caillou, your half-sister looks so cute. What's her name?
My name's Eliza. But also, who are you three?
These are my friends from when we were kids. Leo Tubbler, Clementine Smith, and Sarah Shinn.
It's nice to meet you, Eliza.
You too.
So Caillou, if Eliza's your half-sister, then do you two share the same mother or the same father?
Unfortunately no. We share the same dad. My mom actually adopted Eliza and married the ex-husband of her biological.
Wait a second. You mean to tell us that your psycho dad Boris married Stephanie's mom? The psycho Karen who gave Natalie a concussion in front of all of us during class?
Wait a second. My mom gave Natalie a concussion in front of all of you during class? When did she do that?
It was during your mom's third day as a substitute teacher in DotZz channel.
Wait a second. I knew my mom was a substitute teacher in DotZz and Animation Sensation 02's channels, but Stephanie never told me that our mom did that to Natalie. Well, it's true. But your mom did that because Natalie and I disrupted the class. But we only did that because she treated most of us very unfairly. How unfairly has she been treating you?
During her first day as a substitute teacher, she was hired under a fake name, and while she acted hostile, she made an excuse when I asked her why she was subbing for Miss Martin.
And she gave me after-school detention claiming that I was talking back at her when I actually asked her the same question, knowing there's a competition of childish moms in town.
And then she sent Rosie to the principal's office claiming that she was falling asleep during class when she actually closed her eyes and wasn't in the mood to deal with her.
And on her second day as a substitute teacher, your mom made a behavior card day based on her own opinion on all of us in the classroom.
And she went as far as giving me, Stephanie, and Natalie bad cards in spite of our good grades. What bad cards did you three get, and why would she do that? First, your mom gave Stephanie the purple card presumably because she's been grounding her for her entitled behavior. Then she gave Natalie the red card because she yelled at her. And finally, she gave me the Air Canada card all because Leo and I avoided Miss Martin when she threatened to give us a punishment day. Then she expelled me for that false reason. You know, I do remember Stephanie telling me that our mom was a substitute teacher in DotZz channel, like I said. But what she did to you in that channel was the exact opposite of how well she treated all of Stephanie's friends at Springfield High School and Animation Sensation 02's channel. And I knew that our mom would threaten to give me a concussion. But I never knew that she would even have the guts to actually do that to Natalie. That's messed up.
Actually, she did it to Natalie twice. She even gave Stephanie 3 concussions and did it to Eric only once.
When did she do all that?
The first concussion she gave Natalie was all part of a concussion spree that she intended to go on all because Natalie and her siblings have been grounding her for acting entitled. It even coincided with the second time she gave Stephanie one.
Okay, first of all, what did Stephanie get her first concussion for? And second of all, when was the third time our mom gave her that kind of punishment?
The first time your mom gave Stephanie a concussion was for putting bullet ants on Lily's chair and starting a class argument in Mrs. Winter's class. And I know this because Cody, Daisy, Emily and I overheard it from across the street when we were at our old house. So my siblings went over there to help Stephanie out. And then they grounded your mom for giving Stephanie that concussion. As for the third concussion Stephanie got from your mom, it happened in one of Karson Animate's Vyonder shorts.
Which one?
Stephanie's Hangman Mayhem. And before Stephanie guessed the last few letters, she was afraid that your mom was gonna give her that concussion right from the
Oh, the horror. This is even worse than I thought. My mom's a full-blown concussion beast. There's no way that Stephanie and her siblings could have survived all that. I'm sure glad that didn't happen to me now that she's in jail with the other Punishers.
Wait a second. Eliza, how did you get abused?
My mom basically gave me the same sort of punishments that she gave Stephanie and her siblings, such as a spanking and threatening to give me a concussion or punishment day. She first woke me up at 5:30 in the morning with an air horn like she did Natalie. Then she gave me a hard-boiled egg as a punishment for being a sleepyhead, which was a dumb reason. And it's similar to when she gave herself French toast while my adoptive dad and Stephanie's siblings were given pancakes and Stephanie herself was given cereal.
How's that similar to how your mom served Stephanie and her siblings a different breakfast each?
Because while I was given the egg, our dad and my mom had French toast. Anyway, after when I refused to eat the hard-boiled egg, my mom threatened to spank me if I didn't eat it. But then she spanked me immediately when I expressed how crazy I thought she was to do so. And because of that, I had to step outside of the apartment where I was born and take a walk.
You were born in an apartment?
This may have been hard to believe, but yes. She was. And after when she got spanked, our dad grounded her for the rest of the day for being ungrateful and a picky eater. Then when Eliza got back from her walk, both of our parents extended her grounding time to a whole week, claiming that she was putting herself in harm's way.
And when I overheard them talking about my pep talk with Crotoon Productions Incorporated during my walk outside, I waited for a week to watch the news to find out what they were hiding. But when I called the police on them, my mom initially threatened to spank me again, give me a concussion, and ground me forever. But when I refused to turn around and bend over so she could spank me, she changed her mind and threatened to give me a punishment day containing an infinite amount of punishments. So I ran away until our dad blocked me off. And when he threatened to take me back inside the apartment by force, I decided to fight back. Wait a second. You can fight?
Actually, Sarah, she can. She may be cute and adorable on the outside, but on the inside, she's inherently a skilled fighter.
But how did Eliza take on your dad by herself?
She ducked twice, circled around him twice, punched him rapidly in the butt along the way, and drop-kicked him in the chest. And when I told her to run, she drop-kicked her mom in the chest too before she ran off to Stephanie's old house where the insurgency protected her from the Punishers.
And when our mom cornered me and Stephanie, we worked together to fight our mom long enough for Caillou's mom and Stephanie's dad to get inside so we could ground our mom. Therefore, my bravery and quick thinking combined with the insurgency's efforts to protect me from the Punishers got them sentenced to 75 years in prison.
Wow. And here I thought that Rosie was the only half-sister in Caillou's family to have bad blood, but I also didn't know that Stephanie's mom gave birth to a kid who can fight.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Rosie, I heard that Miss Martin was her biological mom and that Rosie also had two siblings of her own named Hunter and Fauna. Did any of you know about this?
Well, neither of my friends did, but Rosie and my mom and I found that out in the end of Richie Toon's series, Life with Doris. Fast forward, in my defense Eliza, it was a shocker for me too. And Hunter's desire for revenge got taken advantage of by a member of our dad's old gang from the previous series, Life with Doris.
Revenge? Why did Hunter want revenge?
Because at the end of that series, our dad and Miss Martin got set on fire for escaping from jail in the execution chamber, and that drove Hunter to join K-Leg's gang. But when a member of K-Leg's gang, Leon Hansberry, was revealed to have planned to send Hunter and Fauna back to Rebecca and Shirley Hudson's orphanage, Hunter turned on him. So while Leon was shot dead, the rest of K-Leg's gang, including a reformed Amaris Mortensen, got arrested for all their crimes including doing drugs.
What do you mean reformed, and who's this Amaris Mortensen?
She was a member of K-Leg's gang before she and the others met Hunter and Fauna. And after when she turned herself in, she only spent 2 months in jail and was released early. Since then, Amaris and our maternal grandparents became their legal guardians.
That's the happiest ending I've ever heard to any story. I'm so glad those two got their lives back on track.
We could say the same thing about you, Eliza. Those child abusers got what they deserved.
Yeah. But you don't have to worry about Miss Martin. Because on the night I was hunted down by my parents, Miss Martin stopped my mom from killing Rosie. And then she joined the insurgency and turned herself and Mr. Glover over to the police while the other insurgents defeated the rest of the Punishers and the crazy Italian father.
Ms. Martin turned on the Punishers? Why would she do that?
Because approximately 5 years ago, Ms. Martin was forced to attend our dad's wedding with Eliza's mom. And so were the rest of our families.
Okay, now I feel really bad for Miss Martin. Because between everything Deanna did up to this point, she's actually way worse than Miss Martin could ever be.
Well, one way or another, I'm glad that the rest of these so-called Punishers won't be causing any more trouble for the next 75 years.
You said it.
Anyway, it was nice to meet you, Eliza.
You too, guys. I gotta hand it to you, Caillou. You got almost as much friends as Stephanie does.
That's true, but some of them are Stephanie's friends too.
Whoa. I didn't know you had common friends.
We do actually.
You know, Caillou, you two are the most popular half-siblings I've ever had. Well guys, I hope you all enjoyed watching me meet Caillou's friends. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. This is Eliza, signing off.